Hey everyone! After two Hoodiari videos, I decided to show up. So, hey, how are you doing? My name is Thiago, I'm one of the founders and developers of Innominatum Digital, and today I would like to talk with you more about Soul Shifter, our first project, our first big game that still is in development, and I would like to talk with you guys more about this and tell you more about the process and the history of Soul Shifter, how the project became to be, and some issues that we have in development, some mistakes that we ended up doing, and give you some tips and sharing with you the story of how we started all this. So let's go! But before we dive into Soul Shifter, let me give you some updates on how Dash and Swing is right now. For the past week, we already had been working on improving the game and doing some tweaks, and we have added new levels and new songs, and we're brainstorming on new ideas to bring up to the game. So we're planning on what new mechanics and what new diversity we could bring to the levels, and what else we could improve in the game. So if you have any idea or tip or suggestion of what new content we could bring to the game to improve even more the feeling and the dashing and swinging, please leave in the comments, we would appreciate it so much. On the other hand, I've been working on developing the leaderboard and the time management of the level, so when you beat level you have your time presented to you, and depending on how fast you have beaten the level you will receive stars, like giving you rewards for your performance. So we will have this system where there is stars, and this will be presented to you on the end of the level, and on the level selection you see the stars that you had in each level, and the idea is that you keep beating the game and keep improving your skills with dashes and swings, and you reach for the 3 stars in each level. But the best for last, drums roll please. The page on Steam for Dash and Swing is up, so you can go to Steam right now. I mean, right now you can go to there. I'm seeing you. I don't see you open Steam right now. Come on. You can go there and you can wishlist Dash and Swing. We're really excited to this. Every time we put a new game on Steam, man, it's such a rush. When we put Soul Shifter in Steam, it was the same thing. We were so excited, and we're more excited than ever to present you Dash and Swing. And come on, go wishlist it if you like it, if you think the game is cool. But while Dash and Swing is cooking, let's talk about our last dish, Soul Shifter. Okay, but what is Soul Shifter? Soul Shifter is a roguelite dungeon crawler super duper fun game where you control a boy with no memories that must fight his way through a dungeon. A dungeon that was created on the middle of the ruins of an old castle. This castle once belonged to an old kingdom, where the people discovered elemental portals that could reach other dimensions. Elemental dimensions, the people could harvest elemental energy that could be used in a bunch of different things. So from the fire realm, people was able to get a magical fire energy that could be used to boil water or heat food or burn your enemies. And from the ice world, the people was able to freeze things, and so on. The problem is that the people started to get dependent on this energy and started to use more frequently. So the demand kept increasing, kept getting bigger, and the people needed to harvest more energy. The alchemist of the castle started to run experiments, and eventually, well, people took too much. The alchemist went too far, and an extremely big explosion happened, destroying the castle, and the energy created by this explosion created a contained dimension where the inside of the castle is. So the main objective of this game is to go through the dungeon that was created in the castle and fight your way to the end. The main character has no memories of his previous life, and for him it feels like he just started there. So you need to fight through the dungeon to discover the secrets of the realm, the explosion, and what really happened, and who exactly are you. So in your journey, you can meet the people that were inside the castle. You can discover what happened. You can talk to the alchemists that worked on the project. You can talk to soldiers. You can talk to farmers, to many people that was alive during that time. And you can navigate through the hub area of the world that is the outside of the castle and meet other adventurers that is going there to try to find their way to the dungeon. So you also have exploration that you can do. You can travel to the elemental realms and harvest the energy of that realm and unlock new powers. You can go to the different layers of the castle and explore at your own will. The game mixes this exploration, dungeon crawler, and roguelike features, and you can explore a bunch of stuff and you can meet different people. And it was really fun making all this stuff because we could be really creative on what we wanted to add to the game. So let's talk more about this, shall we? As a base, the projects share much of the similar ideas and the feelings of what we wanted Soul Shifter to be. We wanted the game to be better, to have more content, to be more enjoyable, more engaging, more playable. And with the experience we have with Slimy Juice, we wanted to bring that to Soul Shifter, to have the game being within 3D environment, but with 2D characters. A 2.5D experience. At the first year of development, Ruggeri was still working on his master's degree, and I was suffering in college. I still am, to be honest. So we have to manage our times. And we did the same thing where Ruggeri worked on development and I worked on art. Later in the project, I worked more on development stuff and adding new content to the game, working on new bosses. But on the start, I was mainly doing art and design things. Ruggeri had this randomly generated room system where we could create different rooms and the game will generate a dungeon based on that, choosing different rooms and connecting them. We used this on the Warrior of Light and Shadow and we were using this on Soul Shifter as well, but improving and getting bigger, more rooms, more things, more different stuff. We had a really strong base of what we wanted to do, so we just need to improve on that. We didn't had a strong GDD, so mainly what we were doing is that we had a simple documentation and then we just talked with each other to see what we wanted to do. And of course, this can work, but it's really messy. It's really difficult to keep tracks on things and check what you need to do and how you're going to do this stuff. So if you're developing a game or any other project, be sure to have a well organized and documented documentation because it will help a lot to keep track on what you will do next, what are the next big thing that you need to work on, what are the priorities of your project, what you still need to do, and how you can do and integrate stuff. It's really easy to get lost when you're working on a project. We had our little organization style, so in the end it worked, but it was not the best way to do it. It's easier if you have it all documented, trust me. The project started in 2020 and it has been years, so I don't remember exactly what was the order that we worked on, but we had brainstorming with what the ideas we wanted to do and how we wanted to expand the idea in general. So instead of trying to make a timeline of what was developed, I will talk more in general about the different aspects of the game and how was the experience to work on every one of them. And for start, let's talk about the characters. All the characters in Soul Shifter play some part on the main story of the game. So you have the main character. As I said, the main character is a lost boy who doesn't have any memories of his past. So he wants to go through the dungeon because he feels that the dungeon is calling him and he wants to know who he is. You start the game outside the castle in a hub area where you can talk to other adventurers that have gone to the castle to discover their secrets and find treasure. You can see a lot of reference of games and anime that we like there in the hub area, but you can also find other adventurers that give tips and warnings about the castle. But the main character that you can find on the dungeon is right on the side of the portal itself, which is the girl. I haven't mentioned anything about it until now, but Soul Shifter is a co-op game. You can play with your friend, and while one of you play as the lost boy, the other one plays a girl who wants to enter the dungeon and search for her father. The main characters were designed by Rudieri, and he also have done the pixel art for them. Besides that, he also made all the portraits for the characters of the game. And alongside me and Rudieri in this journey, we have Mika, who worked on several arts for the game, like the main menu background and a really cool drawing of the Lost Boy itself. So check it out, it's really cool. The characters and the dialogue was really fun to make. Rudieri worked on most of the dialogue stuff and were the storylines and the sentences. But yeah, not also the dialogues, but we have a lot of notes scattered along the dungeon that tell more about the story and what happened there. Alongside that, designing the interior of the castle was a bit hard, because we needed to make sure that all the levels feel different and have a really unique flavor to them, because we couldn't make like the first level feel the same as the second or the third one. It needs to feel cohesive and make sure that it makes sense that they all take place in the same location but in different floors and serving different purpose. So yeah, this was a bit more hard to do it, but also it was fun doing. All the level design was really fun to do it because we could just relax and just be adding stuff to the scenario and planning on what we wanted to do. Of course, there was a time where we were just so tired of putting stuff, but it was really fun overall. The weapons were another thing of the game that it was really fun to work on, especially for me because I was able to create different sprites for each weapon, and I had to get creative to think of different designs for each weapon that could match its elements. So in the game we have two different types of weapon. We have ranged weapons and melee weapons. The ranged weapons have ammo and the melee weapons have a durability, so eventually you are unable to use the weapon you're using. So the game encourages you to switch weapons and being always trying to get better weapons that match your game style. Designing the weapons were really cool, but sometimes it was difficult to have each weapon feels different from another. We have variety on the elements of each weapon, so if you are fighting on a dungeon that it's mostly ice enemies, it's preferable that you use fire weapon, and this is valid for both ranged and melee weapons. So our idea was that you want to be diverse in these weapons. You have heard that a lot on this video, but designing enemies was also really cool. Because as we were thinking on different realms and trying to design these different dimensions, we were also thinking on what the inhabitants of that realm would look like. So basically, most of the enemies that you fight during the game are elemental creatures that are from these different realms. And it was really cool to start to think on how this world works. So it was a time where we could relax and just think about things. So while in the Faro realm we have the Sulfurians with their tribal society, in the Thunder realm we have a cult-like society where they all praise an ancient deity. So thinking in these enemies and thinking on what role they play on their specific realm was pretty cool. And designing the enemies in a game-like perspective was also cool, but again, it was a bit difficult to think of ways to make all the enemies feel different and you don't feel that you are always fighting the same enemy but with a different skin. So we have done that little scheme where one enemy is slow but strong and the other enemy is fast but is weak, and we use this to create some diversity, but we also make different kinds of enemies. We have enemies that create lava puddles, so you can't reach them, and you have to take care of them in range distance. But yeah, it was pretty cool to think of these different enemies and different designs. Now let's talk more about the bosses of the game. We have in total 10 bosses. We have one for each level of the dungeon, and one for each elemental realm. So we have a total of 9 bosses, and we have one secret boss that, well, It's a secret. Go play the game. All the bosses have different styles and different ways to attack the player. We've tried to make every boss memorable and unique in his design, and I really think we managed to do that because I think that all the bosses look really good. But yeah, the story of Soul Shifter is full of ups and downs, and it was an incredible experience developing this game because it was our first time developing a full big game with a lot of different content and getting in touch with marketing and testing and managing stuff and time. So it was a really unique experience to you work on a big project and manage it yourself. So what the future holds for Soul Shifter and what will be the next updates and the next step for the game. So right now we have been working on Soul Shifter to make some upgrades in the game. So we're improving the graphics, we're improving the HUD, the interface, the menus. We are planning to add new stuff. We're planning to re-enable the PvP of the game, where you have different arenas that you can compete with your friends. And of course, we are working on the port of the game for Xbox. So you'll be hearing news from Soul Shifter really soon and some exciting news. We are improving the game in general, so be sure to keep in touch with Innominatum Digital and you will receive updates from Soul Shifter really soon. The game will finally leave the early access and will enter in its full release, and we are really excited for that after all these years working on this project. And we had some time where we are out, we were not working on it because we had a rough year and there was a lot of things going on, but right now we are back at it with full force and we are really happy to close this project and release its full version. Of course that it's not the perfect game, it has a lot of flaws, but we are really proud of this stuff. We are really proud of what we managed to do, and seeing all the difficulties we have, all the issues and mistakes we've made, and looking at it right now and knowing that we can do better, we can improve the game, we can make what we wanted. It's incredible, it's amazing. And developing this game was a really unique experience. We had so many headaches thinking all that stuff, but working on it, it was amazing. And the game didn't sell well. We were really disappointed on how the game performed on Steam, but now we can see that this happened because there was a lot of flaws in how we market the game and how we engage in the community, and we hope that right now we were doing a better job on keeping in touch with the community and making more content about our game, not just developing but also promoting and showing to you what we are working on and how proud we are of our project. So of course that we wanted Soul Shifter to sell well, and money is really important, but developing the game that we wanted and seeing the result and seeing even only one person playing and having a good time, it's awesome. So yeah, it was a great experience knowing that people can enjoy our games and want to play. It's something truly magical. So thanks for that. And yeah, I think this close Soul Shifter. There was a lot of things that I ended up not talking about. As I said, the story of Soul Shifter is full of up and downs and a lot of stuff happened. But summarizing everything, this is the story. This is the story of our first game, of how we created Innominatum Digital, and we are excited to finally release this game and give it to the world. So
We hope that you can enjoy Soul Shifter and have fun the same way that we had fun when we were developing this stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching the video. It was a really long video, but yeah, I usually talk too much. Be sure to be tuned in Innominatum Digital for future updates in Dash and Swing and in Soul Shifter. Check Soul Shifter on Steam, Wishlist Dash and Swing on Steam as well, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!